Hello, everybody. I'm Justin, and I'm here with my friend Alex.
What's up, everybody?
And we've been good friends for
quite
some time, and he's probably my only good person to talk to.
Yeah, don't you forget it, dude.
Yeah, I have no friends, so
yeah, it's true.
But yeah, right now, as of now, the podcast is still called Honest RH. I don't know if you listened to the last one. Did you listen to the last one?
I haven't finished it, I'll be honest.
Okay, good.
Just remember, you barely have one friend.
But I'm thinking about changing it to The Escape. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, like, what were you thinking for The Escape? Like, what's your purpose and reason?
I kind of want to have a like the premise of where people can like actually talk and speak their mind, and no one is judged for it, or I guess not judged, but like they're not scared to speak their mind, and I feel like this is kind of a escape from because a lot like as from what I said last podcast, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and the thing I like about them is that they can just talk, and there's no like restraints on like time or anything like that, for the most part at least, and they can just say whatever they feel needs to be said, and their ideas aren't kind of like held back, I guess. So
yeah, I mean, with that spin on it, I think it sounds good. I mean, like, marketing standpoint or purposes, maybe it could just be like something a little bit more open, like free air, something like that, you know? I don't know.
The free air.
Or just free air.
Free air radio.
Yeah, like you're allowed to have some free air, you're allowed to breathe, you're allowed to talk, not feel judged, not feel put down or degraded. But I don't know, dude. I like The Escape. Just whatever you choose.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I kind of just write some like notes throughout the week of things I want to talk about. Kind of the first thing that came to my mind, or one of the first things, was there's a lot of, I don't know if you've seen like the baby on board thing on like people's cars.
No, what?
Like they have like that sign that like right next to the window.
Oh, the little like caution sign.
It says like baby on board.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like they don't actually do anything. Like no one's gonna be like driving recklessly and then see the sign and be like, oh frick, I gotta drive less caution or less recklessly so that I don't hit the guy in the car with the baby on board.
Let me completely change my driving pattern. Yeah.
So I found that kind of amusing. That.
Well, where were you where you saw that?
It's everywhere, dude. I just see it everywhere. Because since I drive all day, I just see it all the time, and I just like the kind of person I imagine who puts that kind of stuff up is just way too like overprotective of their child. Like that's obviously their first child.
Yeah, they should be more reckless with their child.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. They should make those signs for bad drivers, like bad driver driving.
Bad driver on board.
Yeah, seriously. Save us half the time.
Another small thing is I'm around Hispanics a lot. And they listen to Latino music, of course.
Right. Like, are you talking like banda or like reggaeton?
Well, I just want to give a glimpse of what it's like.
We got a sampler.
Yeah.
Sick.
But what I find so amusing about it is just it's so like consistent on what they listen to. Like I would think Americans for the most part, they have a pretty vast like genre of music.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like this stuff, it's like the same thing over and over again, and it's like, and they sing along to it, like, and they enjoy it, which is so crazy. But let me, what was it, Bondo?
Banda.
Banda.
B-A-N-D-A. Banda. Or Banda. La Banda. It's good stuff, actually.
I agree, but like,
I spent 10 months working construction in Phoenix, Arizona. And, you know, I mean, my father's born and raised in Chihuahua, Mexico. You know, like, I understand the culture really well. And, but I've never been into, like, banda or, like, ranchero music at all. And, I tell you what, when you're out in the fields, you know, working and doing construction and whatnot, literally, like, within a month or two, like, you know all the words, and you're, you know, you're just doing along, singing along, dude. It's funny.
Let's see if I can find a good one. Yeah. Like, this is, I feel like it's so old. Like, the style of it is so old.
Yeah, it's kind of like a historical style, honestly.
But look at this. This
Super
is
outdated.
2017. Like, and everyone, they all listen to it. But sometimes you might run into some, like, Hispanics who obviously they don't like it, and they have, like, their headphones in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, and then you get that one Mexican that's just, like, singing obnoxiously, like, I just think it's so funny. And I was like, hey, where's your paint? Or where do you want your paint? And they're like, what? it's so funny.
Well, in all reality, if you actually think about it, if there's anything that we can learn from this, is that you can still make money being a trumpet player in Mexico.
So, like, yeah, like, some of it's, like, tuba, like, a bunch of different...
Dude, I'm going to be a professional tuba player, dude. Just mobbing Mexico City.
I think it's hilarious, though.
Well, the thing is that I think it's funny is pretty much all, like, Latino-style music has the same beats in all different types of genre. Like, ranchero music, it's literally... Here's banda, here's the banda music. Ready? You have the, like, the tuba or, like, the bass, boom, 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 and then, like, they'll sing a sentence, like, da 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 da, and then there's always a trumpet right at the end.
Exactly.
That's the whole song, man. And then, like, what's that other kind? Reggaeton music.
Uh-huh.
Ready?
Yeah, let me bring that up.
Like, same song. It's cool, though. I mean, like, if you're into it. Oh, let's go.
Come on. Give me some good stuff. And they all have it, like, on their like, their phones, like, they're, like, watching a YouTube video like this. Like, they don't actually own it. It's hilarious.
That's funny.
But yeah, I run into that a lot, and I just think it's so funny because it's like I listen to it all day. So, and I just, like, I don't understand how they can enjoy it. But I mean, it's great that they do because they're so, like, happy, like, laughing all the time. They're fun to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just had a little topic, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit intense, but I know, like, with everything going on right now politically, like, the whole, like, country's kind of freaking out. But
yeah, I want to get into that too.
What's your thoughts on the whole Charlottesville stuff going down right now, and, like, racism? Obviously, it's a hard topic and it's tough.
Yeah, I think it's so bizarre because and there's also, like, Trump had a rally in Phoenix, and there's huge, like, riots and stuff. It's just interesting because I don't think people realize how how like it's becoming part of. I don't know. Like it's a lot bigger than a lot bigger than people think. Because I always thought it was mostly like an Eastern thing, like East Coast thing.
Yeah.
That people are so radical, but when you see it in like Phoenix too, like that's basically where we're from, and there's people there too that are just like they're way radical, and it's just like wow, like they would be here too.
Yeah, I think kind of like the biggest thing that I have an issue with, and like I'll be like the first to say it, and maybe this is kind of intense, but you know, I think a lot of like what's going on right now, especially in the world today, is there's a lot of like specific race empowerment groups. You know, like you have big movements for like white power, neo-Nazis. Mm-hmm. You know, you have Black Lives Matter and African American empowerment. You have, you know, women feminist groups, you know, and women empowerment groups. You know, same goes with, I mean, really all types of labels that people put on themselves. But I have an issue with it because, you know, there should be a people's group, you know, that we're all humans. You know, why is no one making a people's group? You know, why are we putting labels on each other and trying to empower one specifically instead of everyone altogether? Because I feel like you know, and people can take this with a grain of salt, but like a Black Lives Matter Black empowerment group is racist because you're only empowering one race. You know, and yes, there's the historical context of, you know, slavery and whatnot, but it's 2017. We should be empowering everybody. You know, why are we empowering, you know, neo-Nazis? White people matter. Everyone matters. You know, everybody matters. Why are we not having a complete, total group empowerment movement? Yeah. I feel like what started off as a beautiful, wonderful idea of promoting specific races, you know, such as Martin Luther King, you know, promoting specific races or cultures. What started off as a good idea has become a radicalist group movement. And they're all kind of tearing the fibers of humanity apart.
What do you think the difference is between, like the ideals back then and then now? What do you think the difference is?
I mean, I think with all things in life, it's really your motives. You know, everything in life is defined by motives, your heart. I think Martin Luther King's reasons and purposes were beautiful, and I think they were pure. I think it came from a righteous place, because Black people matter. African Americans matter. Mm-hmm. You know, look at what they've done for society and culture within the last 20 years. I mean, revolutionary stuff, really. But now you have leaders trying to promote themselves as individuals. They're not revolutionary. They're fascist, if you will. Mm-hmm. You know, very self-centered. You know, the feminist movement is not empowering women. It's creating a divide between men and women, where women don't like men and think we're pigs, and, you know, put men down. That doesn't build women up. You know, we've learned that from history. Like high school, you know, putting somebody down does not make you bigger. It actually makes you look like more of a fool. Yeah. And so cultures and racial empowerment groups are not building themselves up by putting others down. They're making themselves look like fools. Yeah. Which is an opinion. That's an opinion, and that's not gospel. But what about you?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you think about it from then to now?
Oh, I just think the like, just there's a middle ground that I think we had to try to strive for, and I think back then there was an obvious like you could see it where Black people were obviously being treated differently, to the point where they weren't even allowed to like drink from the same drinking fountain. Like, that seems like outrageous.
Yeah.
But now there's like these abstract things now that people make up, and they might not make them up as well. I mean, I'm sure there's got to be racists out there somewhere, like, and they might be. I think it's just people are taking it a little too harshly, because some people they're not like outright racist, but they might, I don't know, they're not like against blacks or anything like that, but they might like say things that might offend someone, even though they're not meant to be offensive.
Yeah.
And I think people take it offensive, and then they blame it on them for being offensive, even though it's only offensive because you took it that way. So
yeah. And I feel like people who have strong ideals, like radicalist strong ideals, kind of tear the fibers, because some people say, well, you know, they'll say typical stereotypes, you know, well, white people are this, white people are that, men are pigs, they're jerks, they take advantage of stuff. And you know what? There's a reason stereotypes are stereotypes. Because they've existed before. People have seen them. But to label an entire race or an entire gender due to the fact that a few people act a certain way is unfair to the mass, you know? Like, for instance, I mean, I keep going back to Martin Luther because he's a prominent figure. Malcolm X, right? Malcolm X. That is one individual that really changed the world. Mm-hmm. The way that he did it, yeah, pretty radical, honestly. And some of it I don't agree with. I felt like it was a little bit extreme. But you can't label an entire group one way and expect them to be one way, because then you lose gems like him. You know, you lose gems like Martin Luther. That's what made America great in the past, is the ability to have multiple points of view. And unfortunately, extremism and those that are looking to build themselves up over others, you know, bullying is a thinking pattern, and it exists. And unfortunately, everyone just needs to make that understood, that it exists. There are people out there that are just flat out bullies.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the genius of the world in itself, is being able to, like you said, find the middle ground. You know, we all need to learn to exist in the middle. You know, blacks should not be above whites, because whites should not be above blacks. The same that Mexicans and Asian, and again, I'm using really kind of like broad terms, and this some people out there might be upset, but none of them should put each other above each other, because they've all produced wonderful, revolutionary idealists, thinkers, brilliant people. And so we should all be proud of each other, you know, period.
I just think it's amazing, like, that people, like, there's people out there that actually think the way they do, where, like, whites are better than blacks, or blacks are better than whites, or whatever it is. Like, it's amazing that there's, like, people out there, like, that actually think that way.
Yeah. Supremacy is just childish ignorance.
Yeah, and you can tell, like, if they're radical or not is if they like act with violence. Like, that's like, every time, whenever if someone like does something like violently, their point is automatically void. Like, whatever they say is just like.
Well, it's an adolescent response. You know, exactly. If someone takes your toy when you're little, you hit them. Yeah. It's a childish response. Violence doesn't answer anything, doesn't fix anything. What happened in Charlottesville? Childish. Period. Yeah. You know, and those people that did what they did should absolutely be condoned. That behavior is not okay. Period. From anyone, anywhere.
I'm just wondering why like it almost happened like too fast. Or maybe it's just that media just happened to get a hold on this certain event, but I feel like it's just like this Charlottesville thing, just like, what the heck, like two sides just like collided like a bomb.
Yeah.
Where like some guy just like out of the blue runs over a bunch of people for like no reason. Like the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe it's just like one of those other things where like people are like standing in the street like just to be obnoxious and just like get in the way of people, and then this guy just got frustrated. But no, this guy just full on like went right in, like
mows him over.
He was not messing around. Like I was like, holy crap! That just goes to show like how, I don't know, this is so crazy.
Now I just have a question though, because and I do feel pretty strongly about this topic, but like, how much do you think the media played in fueling this story, fueling the feelings about this whole thing?
I definitely think there is a tone, there is that part in it, like, but it is definitely hard to recognize what actually is true and what's not true. And it's so hard to tell these days because a lot of stuff is altered or changed so that the point they get across is to their advantage.
Yeah.
And not the whole thing. Which I think is what, like, Trump said something about, like, he blamed both sides and he got attacked for that. But at the same time, like, I don't know. It's obviously a both-sided thing. Like, it's not just one side.
Yeah, well, it takes two people to dance, and it takes two people to have a gunfight. Exactly. Well, at least to start one.
It's just, like, it's so crazy. Like, it's so crazy to live in this time. Because there's so many, like, issues to worry about.
Yeah. Well, because I think about that all the time, and it's just, like, I kind of got to the point where I feel, and I would say this is probably true for a majority of our generation, we don't trust the media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the media keeps shoving information down our throat, thinking we're just buying it all, and we're all sitting here thinking it's stupid and it's biased. It's so biased.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe half of anything that I hear anymore. And history has honestly proven if you control the media, you can control the world. Seriously, like that ginormous newspaper tycoon William Randolph Hearst, he published an article, a newspaper. Like if you look at President McKinley was shot and murdered in upstate New York.
Okay.
This is like a really old thing. He was shot and killed in upstate New York. I can't remember the time period, but William Randolph Hearst's newspaper came out with an article previous to McKinley's murdering saying that he's a traitor to the country, he's committed treason, and deserves to die. And then magically, President McKinley gets assassinated. Magic. Right? I mean,
know that story.
You have a mass culture going, oh yeah, President McKinley's a bad person, and then boom, you know, they can fuel a fire so much over one story, and because the fire gets fueled, all of a sudden everybody wants to jump in and get a piece of the action because it gets their name out there. You know, look at how many famous people all of a sudden magically just feel the need to comment on every little thing. Well, it gets their name out there, you know. Why are sports stars talking about politics? What do you know about politics? Where did your degree come from? You play sports. Stick to sports. You know, let's talk about sports with sports players, let's talk politics with politicians. You know, but all of a sudden magically, you know, LeBron James has got a platform to talk about politics, which sure, a lot of people are inspired by him, and I think that's great. You know, but
people are definitely entitled to their opinion, but I think to like alter your opinion because of a famous person from what they say, like that's kind of stupid.
But I feel like famous people now know that that's happening. They know that their platform allows them the opportunity to sway people, and in a really, it can be negative. Mm-hmm. You know, yeah, it's a great strength if you use it wisely with good purpose and good heart. But if you have ulterior motives to promote somebody, they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's right.
Well, here's something. This is something I just thought of. Like, why... Like, celebrities are rich, of course. Mm-hmm. But why... Like, most rich people, I would say, are conservative. I don't know. That might be wrong. But why is it that celebrities, for the most part, are the opposite? They're liberal. I don't know what it is about that.
I don't know. I think it's just kind of mass culture.
I think maybe here's what it is. It's probably because like the artists are kind of liberal in and of themselves. For some reason, that's another question: is why are artists liberal? for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, I mean, I think the words in and of themselves kind of explain it. Somebody who's conservative, they tend to be rule followers. You know, they like straight lace. I mean, and I'm just going off definition. I'm not going off party ideals because, quite frankly, I don't care for either.
Yeah.
But somebody who's conservative is somebody who likes rules. They like, you know, having a little house with a white picket fence, you know, the dream. And people that are liberal tend to be, you know, out of the box thinkers. They're different.
True. That's true.
You know, most people don't think to themselves, "I'm going to be an NBA star," you know, because you're not going to get there. That's a liberal idea in and of itself. Most of us just want to get, you know, a good $100K a year 9-to-5 job. You know, so
that's interesting.
But I also definitely think it's culture. You know, nowadays it's, if you're conservative, you're not cool. They have literally made liberalism cool, and if you're not a free thinker, you're not cool. You know, if you agree with the Republican, you know, the GOP, the grand old party, you're a weirdo. You know, it's definitely become labeled, and what's really sad is they will label you stupid. If you're conservative, you're stupid. You know, like Romney running for president. He spent like his majority of his life in Massachusetts, right? The minute he runs for president, all of a sudden he turns into a dumb cowboy. They paint him and depict him as this dumb cowboy because that's what Bush was, you know, or that's how they depicted Bush, you know, which is funny is because he went to Yale, graduated from Yale. He's a, you know, really rich guy.
Romney did?
No, President Bush.
Oh, okay.
You know, they paint him as a dumb cowboy, and yeah, he said some dumb things, but he went to Yale. You can't be stupid and go to Yale. You can't be stupid and graduate from Yale. But you know, because Romney's conservative, all of a sudden he's a dumb cowboy, and that's how they paint him and depict him. And I just don't think that's fair.
I think these. I think ever since Trump, people have become like they don't identify with any party. Because there's all these crazy things happening on both sides, and people are just like, I don't agree with what's becoming of this party, and so they just kind of, at least for me, like I've just kind of like retracted myself from either side, and I used to think of myself like a conservative, but now like there's some crazy conservative ideas out there that I'm just like. And yeah. I'm just, I don't know, I'm becoming more of a, I'm more, what's the word, aware of like my own thoughts and my own ideals, and so I think ever since then I've just kind of disagreed with both sides.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I think Democrat, Republican, you know, liberal, conservative, that blue and red war is kind of torn our country apart. I really do. Now you don't have people identifying as Americans, you know, and that was what was so beautiful about democracy at the beginning is it's a unified voice from the mass of multiple voices. You know, we should be trying to build up smaller parties, libertarians. You know, we should be building up the independents, the Green Party, you know, I mean, even Tea Party if you dare, you know, but multiple parties presenting multiple candidates with different ideals is ideal. And what we've created is a red versus blue. And that's not okay. You know, it has really torn the fiber of the country today.
Yeah, I think because there's no... Like, most people don't identify completely with either party.
Yeah.
And I think the more variety you have, the more, I don't know, I guess the path to more open thinking would be accepted, because there's not like one, or there's not two different things. You either take this side or that side.
Yeah.
And I think like what you said is, if we were to have a more variety of ideas, and parties. Well, I don't know, because I don't like the idea of clumping a group of people together and to say they all agree, they all like think this way, and I think because that really diminishes their like
the in between.
Exactly, like their own thoughts. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
It's so complex. That's another thing. Like with politics, they're so complex, and there's no right or wrong answer. I don't think that you can come up with.
Yeah, you know, and I'll just say this, but like, I think what kind of where we've gone, and how we're teaching people to think nowadays, it's getting sad. And you know, I would like to believe. Who cares about who said it? But the slogan "Make America Great Again." You know, I wish that was possible. But it's, I mean, for my generation, for our generation, dude, that seems like a pathetic dream. You know, those that have come before us have dug such a large pit that it's created such radicalists, you know, people that are honestly up in arms, willing to run over human beings with their car. That's where we're at. We've gotten people so mad because people are selfishly taking and no one is charitably giving. And I don't know. I wish America could be great again. I just don't believe it. I really don't.
Yeah.
But the thing is people say, well, we'll move to Mexico or we'll move to Canada. There's no better option. That's what's sad. There is no better option. You know, America is the greatest country in the world. Period. But even we're tanking. What does that tell you?
Yeah. So, about Canada, have you heard of Jordan Peterson?
I haven't.
He's a psychologist, but there is this law passed in Canada. Let's see if I can pull it up. It's called Bill C-16, and in this bill, the transgender, like transgender people can legally like tell you to refer to them as a certain pronoun. And that doesn't just mean he or she, but that could be anything like Z, Zer, all this other stuff that they make up.
Doesn't even make sense.
Exactly. They make up their own genders, and then in this bill that they passed in Canada, you have to refer to them as that pronoun that they wish to be referred to as. So, I need to show you a video. And there's this guy, his name's Jordan Peterson, and he spoke out against this. Because this is not just a matter of, like, referring to people as... It's not a transgender issue, it's a free speech issue. To have a government control what you can and cannot say is like absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, that's super absurd.
Let me pull up this video. But in this video, Jordan Peterson is at this university, and he wants to give this like a talk about like his expressing his ideas and his thoughts about this whole thing, and it's just outrageous. Because then, of course, a bunch of people who are trying to progress the transgender movement arrive, and they pretty much block, or at least try to block them out. Oh, what's it called?
You know, man, I'm about to say something pretty wild.
Just say it.
But with this whole multi-gender identification thing going on right now, that's another topic I feel that was completely media fueled. That's kind of just come out of nowhere. You know, a donkey can say he's a pig, and a donkey can say he's a bird, but a donkey's a donkey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he may chirp like a bird. You know, he can try to be a bird all day, but he's a donkey. Period. You know, you can identify yourself as anything that you want to do, but you still have a penis.
Yeah.
Period. You know, you can go try to get surgically removed, but you were born that way. People say, well, I was born gay, or I was born blah, blah, blah. You were born with a penis. Period. Science is science. You cannot lie to science. You cannot rewrite the book on science. Science is science. There's only one way to reproduce, and there's two genders in reproduction. You can call yourself a zebra. You can call yourself a bird. You're still a donkey.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, hey, some people love the people that they love. You know, I mean, I've got brothers. I love my brothers. They're men, you know. I think they're great guys. Am I going to change my gender because of it? No, not necessarily. And, you know, some people feel that they need to be with people that they love. And, you know, hey, it's a new way of thinking. We need to find a middle ground. I think that's really cool that they feel the necessity to express themselves in that way. But, you know, that would be, if you can relabel yourself gender-wise, and you can have a penis and say you're a girl, that is like me going out saying I'm black. Why doesn't the hood accept me? That would be me going to Avondale, Ohio, walking down Forest Avenue and saying, "What's up, bros? I'm black." They would laugh me off the block.
There's such a thing as transracial now. People identify as black, and they spray tan themselves.
That's the most ridiculous thing ever. You're lying. You are lying.
No, I'm serious.
You know, people need to just embrace who they are.
Yeah.
You know, if you're black, you're beautiful. Be the best African American or the best black person you can be. If you're white, be the best white person you can be. Love others. Build up others. If you're Hispanic, man, you better be the best one out there.
Yeah.
Don't try to rewrite your own book. I think that's rude. It's almost, you know, it's almost a slap to the face to those that brought you into this world.
Yeah. But yeah, check this out. So, this guy